My name is Nancy. There's a world out there I don't know about. I learned about it as a child, watching TV. Animals living in the wild, landscapes I've never seen before, and the lives of various people who speak different languages. Wanting to see this unknown world up close, I bravely studied abroad during my college years. There, in my destination, was the unknown world I sought. Even though the language was different, people's lives were thriving. There were many creatures, and breathtaking landscapes unfolded. I want others to experience this wonder too. Thinking that, I got a job at a travel agency. I was in charge of tour planning at my assigned department. Using what I learned during my study abroad, I handled everything from site inspections to negotiations. It was indeed a whirlwind life, but I wasn't neglecting my personal life. I married Daniel, whom I met through work a few years ago. I was balancing work and family life well, but then a problem arose. It was with my mother-in-law, Barbara. Barbara, a housewife, believes women should stay at home after marriage. I don't deny her viewpoint, but I think such an idea is outdated. I told her so, but she said to me, "Isn't it a woman's job to support Daniel? Do you have a problem with that?" But what? Talking back as Daniel's wife? No. Ultimately, Barbara didn't understand. I didn't want her to impose her views on me. I couldn't live with Barbara like this. So, I suggested buying a house to Daniel. I think people's view of us will change if we buy a house. Just saying that, Daniel easily agreed to buy a house. This is how I avoided living with Barbara. But the story didn't end there. Once we bought the house, Barbara started coming over often. Every weekend, she'd come and make noise with Daniel. Of course, she didn't take care of her husband, Anthony. "Barbara, is it okay to leave Anthony alone? He's not a child. He'll manage. Wasn't supporting a husband a woman's job?" I wanted to retort, but I could see it leading to a fight. So I kept quiet. Then Barbara, who had been noisy with Daniel, suddenly started a conversation. "I forgot to say, but I'm going on a trip next week. Please be careful." "What are you saying, Nancy? You're coming too!" But it's so sudden. "You're not planning to join the family trip as Daniel's wife?" "But there's work, too." "It's a family trip. Are our in-laws not family to you?" "That's not what I mean." "Then make it happen." "Yes." I couldn't talk back, but that was still the better part. Seeing me troubled, Barbara said in a mean tone, "And book the hotel." I should? Always bragging about working at a travel agency, right? I'm not bragging. So, you can do it, right? Where are we going? London. London, where I studied abroad. I still have many contacts there. It might be difficult for other countries or regions, but maybe I can manage London. Okay, I'll try. I have the plane tickets, so just book the hotel. You booked the flight, but not the hotel? I got the tickets. Got them? I exchanged my card miles for first-class tickets. Barbara grinned. Judging by her joy, it seemed true. Then I noticed piles of branded goods on the sofa. I see. I understood. Hearing first class, Daniel leaned in. First class? Seriously, Mom? Yes, it's a first-class trip abroad. Awesome. We will leave at 9:30 p.m., so you can work till the last minute. Barbara was still grinning. It felt odd, but there's no point in lying about going on a trip. I have to properly book the hotel or she'll complain. But it's so sudden. Finding a hotel might not be easy. After some thought, I decided to use my old contacts from my study abroad days to get a hotel referral. I asked over the phone, "Can you do it?" For Nancy's request, sure. 4 people, 2 rooms. Thank you! With that, I successfully booked the hotel. Then, on the day of the trip, it was such short notice that I couldn't take the day off, so I was working. Barbara had told me to meet up at the airport at 6 p.m. So, if I wrap up work soon, I can make it. That's what I thought, when suddenly, Barbara called. Hello, Barbara? Nancy, are you done with work? I'm just leaving the office now, so I'll be at the airport after 6 p.m. Oh, that's too bad. Huh? Well, we're actually leaving at 6 p.m. No way. I hurried back to my desk. I searched the flight schedule on my computer. London, London. I found the 9:30 p.m. flight I initially heard about, but there was also a flight leaving after 6 p.m. Could it be this after 6 p.m. flight? Yes, so the family is going without you. If you leave me behind, what about Anthony? You're supposed to be sick. I was furious. How could she plan so thoroughly to leave me out? Unforgivable. But showing my frustration would be playing into Barbara's hands. I had to hide my feelings, even if it meant putting on a brave face. I clenched my teeth and said to Barbara, I'm the one who booked the hotel. So? Daniel knows the hotel name. You can't do anything now. I could hear Barbara laughing on the other end. Annoyed, I said, Go without me then. That's better. We don't need a useless wife like you. Useless? What do you mean? Don't you know? What? You neglect housework for your job. Daniel is complaining. True, I'm busy with work, but I've never slacked off on housework. Why would Daniel complain? Can I speak to Daniel? Sure. Nancy wants to talk. Barbara's mocking voice was followed by Daniel's. Hello, what's up, Nancy? Daniel, what do you mean you're complaining about me? Just that. You're always at work and neglecting me. Neglect? I prepare meals, clean, and do laundry. But you think you're doing it all yourself, right? That's not true. Shouldn't you respect me more? Listen to me? Do things for me? Huh. I know, a wife who supports her husband is valued. It's convenient for the husband. But that's not all there is to a marriage. I never badmouth Daniel in public, always praising him, but not when it's just the two of us. But we need to speak our minds when alone. Otherwise, our relationship would fall apart, and I'd become nothing but a servant to Daniel. Yet, he kept complaining about me. So you think you can act all high and mighty because you earn more? Not at all. Anyway, that annoys me. And you're leaving me behind for that? Yeah? Consider it stress relief. I'll bring you a souvenir, so don't worry. That's not the point. Clearly, Daniel was taking me for granted. If that's how it is, I have my own plans. Fine. Enjoy your trip. Will do. Bye. Daniel sounded happy as he hung up. I was livid. I couldn't stand the self-centered Daniel and Barbara. Enjoy your trip without me, but be prepared. Even if you come back crying and apologizing, I won't forgive you. I rushed out of the office with my mobile phone. Hey, hello, it's Nancy. Are you free? I need to talk about that hotel booking. With the trip canceled, I had plenty of time. I'll settle everything now. I ran around with that determination. Then, the next evening, exhausted, I got home, and right then, the phone rang. Hello? Nancy! What were you thinking? It was Barbara on the phone, sounding quite angry. I knew the reason, but pretended not to. Barbara? Are you enjoying the trip? This is no time for that. We can't check into the hotel. Did you have a reservation? You made the reservation, didn't you? I canceled it because I wasn't going. Huh, what? Then where are we supposed to stay tonight? I don't know. Nancy! Barbara's angry voice came through, but she's in London. Her anger over the phone isn't scary at all. That's tough. Being abroad without a hotel? You never know what might happen. It's not the safest place, you know. Wait! Wait, help me! Barbara sounded panicked. Then a faint voice in the background. There's a canceled room. Anthony's negotiating for us to stay there. It was Daniel's voice. Is that true, Daniel? Looks like it'll be fine. You see, Nancy? Heard that? Barbara's voice turned triumphant, as if her earlier tears were a lie. I heard ya. Too bad for you, Nancy. Your plan didn't work. Well, the room was available because I canceled it. But this was all part of my plan. My real aim was something else. Glad there was a vacancy. Thought you'd be smug about canceling our hotel, didn't you? No, not really. Frustrated, aren't you? You can admit it if you're upset. I just canceled it because I wasn't going. Putting on a brave face. How pathetic. Typical of Daniel's useless wife. Barbara laughed loudly. Then she went on bragging about the amazing scenery, delicious food, and so on. Eventually, tired of listening, I quietly hung up the phone. She probably didn't even notice. I smiled a little at that thought. Anyway, just a few more days to endure. I braced myself and had dinner. A few days later, on my way back from a certain place, as I headed to the station, Barbara called again. Hello? What's up? Nancy! What's going on? Again? Not again! What's wrong with this hotel? What are you talking about? Barbara's story, in short. They stayed in the room I canceled, thanks to Anthony's negotiation. Anthony's negotiations were easily concluded. Barbara and her friends were to stay in an open room. They were supposed to stay for 4 days and check out today. But there was a problem. They were billed £8,000 by the hotel. So what's the issue? It's £2,000 per night, right? Huh? That's about 2.5K per night in dollars. Ridiculous! It's for 2 rooms, right? So about 1.2K per room? You told Daniel it was $300 per room per night. Yes, I did. So it should be $600 for 2 rooms. Why is it 4 times more? I was astonished. They stayed without even checking the room rates. Well, I anticipated this, so I set it up accordingly. Anyway, Barbara, making a fuss on the phone, must be bothering others. I should calm her down. Hey, Nancy! You hear me, Nancy? Barbara, can you be a bit quieter? Why did you lie? She's good at accusing others without reflecting on herself. Exasperated, I began to explain to Barbara. The $300 rate was because I made the reservation. Huh? So because it was last minute, I asked a friend who runs a hotel. A friend? Yours? Yes. Their hotel offers rooms for around $600 for 2 people. Then, why $1,200? That's the rate for a really nice room. My friend did me a favor. A favor? There were no other vacancies, so they arranged a nicer room. So, is this the regular price? Barbara sounded flustered. When I heard from Barbara, there was no time left for the trip. So I told my friend any available room would do. The only vacancy was an expensive suite. My friend kindly gave a discount. Barbara left me behind without asking. I immediately told my friend the situation and got the room canceled. But I couldn't just leave Barbara and the others without a hotel. So I asked to accommodate them at the regular price if they came. I knew Barbara, having heard about the hotel from Daniel, wouldn't check the price. And I was right. Come on, you should have said that. Yelling won't help. Please make sure to pay. We're not paying. Nancy, you pay. But if you don't pay, you'll be arrested. Arrested? Of course. Troubles abroad can be messy. Are you okay with that? Barbara seemed at a loss for words. As I was about to hang up, thinking I had won, Barbara shouted, "Don't mess with me! You'll regret this when I get back!" That's fine, but we're strangers now, right? Huh? Why? Well, you said it was a family trip, so since I'm not there, I'm not family, right? That's different! Before she could finish, Anthony's voice came from the phone. What's all this yelling about? Be quiet. It's embarrassing. Anthony? Seizing the opportunity, I called out to him. He noticed and responded. Nancy? Are you okay? How's your cold? I never had a cold in the first place. What? Give me that. It seemed Anthony took the phone from Barbara. His voice grew louder. Nancy, can you explain everything? I can, actually. I told him everything from the beginning. His voice gradually lowered. I see. So that's why you didn't come. I'm sorry. I wanted to go. No, Nancy, you're not at fault. It's Barbara and Daniel. From afar. Hi! I heard a whimper. Barbara and Daniel seemed frightened by Anthony's anger. Realizing this, an idea came to me. Should I tell Anthony what Barbara has been doing? I thought so. So, I turned to Anthony. Anthony, can I tell you something? What is it? Barbara comes to our house almost every weekend. I know that. And when she throws away receipts at our place, there are piles of them. What receipts? For brand goods. It's fine to buy a lot, but please dispose of the receipts at your place. Barbara wasn't just being noisy at our house. She was secretly buying brand goods and disposing of the receipts at our place to hide it from Anthony, thinking she wouldn't get caught this way. Of course, I'm a witness, so it's pointless. But it seemed Anthony didn't know. That's interesting to hear. Also, please tell her to stop bad-mouthing you at our place. She talks about me too? Yes. She says you don't earn much. Daniel, too. Calls him a useless dad, I think. Anything else? Well... So, I spilled all my pent-up frustrations to Anthony. Of course, some of it wasn't directly related to Anthony, but he listened silently. And at the end, he apologized to me. I'm sorry. Now I understand. Understand what? Why Barbara didn't want to use her card to pay for the hotel. Maybe. Probably because the cost was much higher than she expected, close to her credit limit. I'm sorry. That was Barbara's voice. Unforgivable! All your wasteful spending, Barbara. I want a divorce. Please, don't do that! Anthony's shouting was followed by Barbara's pitiful voice. He also yelled at Daniel. Daniel, why don't you defend your wife? Well, that's... Don't come to my house anymore. Reflect on this alone. Yes, sir. Daniel sounded unusually obedient. Probably he thought being banished from his parents' house wasn't a big deal. That's when I struck the final blow. So, Daniel, looks like you're going to live alone now. Huh? What do you mean? Suddenly, Daniel's voice got louder. He must have grabbed the phone. I moved my phone a bit away and told him the situation. Daniel, I want a divorce. Ugh, a divorce? You're joking, right? No, I'm serious. I've already sold the house. You sold it? Why would you do that without telling me? That's our house. No, it's my house. But I was paying the mortgage too. No, you weren't. What do you mean? I was giving you part of my salary every month. That was for living expenses. A few $100s isn't enough for the mortgage. Daniel had been giving me a few $100s monthly. It helped with living expenses, but not enough for the mortgage. So I paid it alone. The house was in my name, so there was no room for complaint. This incident made me decide to divorce Daniel. I sold the house, full of unpleasant memories of living with him. So you'll be living alone. Wait! Think it over! No, it's decided. I'll contact you once I find a place. Then I'll send you the official notice. Official notice? Of course. I'll be claiming compensation in the divorce. Wait for me! Daniel was crying on the other end, but I didn't care. I hung up the phone. After that, Daniel and I divorced following discussions. Anthony actually divorced Barbara, too. Barbara, due to her wasteful spending, didn't get any compensation in the divorce and was left on her own. I was just thrown out of the room. Daniel was nearly broke, apparently having spent everything except the few $100s he gave me each month on frivolities. Now he's living in a run-down apartment and commuting to work. But things might be better for Daniel than Barbara. With no house or money, and Daniel's place too small, Barbara had to take a live-in job. She's working hard from morning till night now. As for me, I'm doing great. Being single, I have more free time and can handle overseas negotiations. I've become a relied upon figure at work, even hearing talks of a promotion to department head. Today, I'm busy flying around the world, planning new tour packages.